Europe reaches material prosperity and simultaneously starts giving up on all its core Christian values. Whatever was left was completely vacated. Because the French Revolution chose to inform the rest of Europe as well, gradually. And today it has absolutely no clue or the first clue to deal with the challenge of the Middle East. It has no response mechanism. Because it has done two things. Since it has become irreligious and because it has lost faith in the Christian establishment, you have only two possibilities. Either you're an atheist or you have succumbed to the fastest rising religion in Europe. That happens. Two, you have given up on the family structure fully. The direct consequence of that is that you don't have a demographic replacement strategy in place. That's gone. You don't have a demographic replacement strategy, you don't have identity, you've created a first world apparatus, which is ripe for fantastic takeover. Job done. And your institutions are basically saying, we are open, we are free, we are open, we are free, we are open, we are free. We have no identity of our own except for freedom and equality. You've told yourself this, and those very values are being subverted against you. Which means every position and every public position is available for anybody's occupation. And since demographics and democracy go hand in hand, it's a numbers game. Whoever has the maximum numbers will occupy those positions. It starts with the kingmaker position to the king position. Realize the importance is, once you see these live examples, and then you see the stark contrast in Eastern Europe, with time, the unfortunate reality will be that Eastern Europe will be looked up to constantly for people's ability to protect themselves. And you'll be left with those options which are not particularly democratic in nature. So you'll be forced to choose between survival and democracy. What do you do then? What will you do then? There is a reason why the nature of democracy itself is going through a churn even in the West. Because it has not exactly produced the strongest of options or a strong hand, so to speak, which can steer the ship. And so people are looking up to all sorts of examples. Desperate people look for strong examples wherever they can get. So I do believe that our ancestors cracked the code in a beautiful way, which went through a phase of de-ritualization during a certain period, and that is why we paid the price for it. But otherwise, they made sure that the Kshatriya identity remains, the Brahmana identity remains, the Vaishya identity remains, and the Shudra identity remains, so that every aspect is addressed, and there are dedicated resources for it. Now, do those divisions make sense in an industrialized world? That's a very good question to ask. Then how do you reapply the template in ways in which it addresses contemporary situations? What do you do then? I'll give you a good example. You don't have teachers in Bharat who are willing to actually teach out of passion for the subject. They exist, but it's not exactly something that people gravitate towards out of choice. Okay? That's the same thing when it comes to attracting people into the armed forces. Because honor codes and duty codes have been replaced with incentive systems, which means the concept of duty has been completely replaced with the concept of a right. And the fight for more rights in the name of individualism is always a race to the bottom as far as the community is concerned, because nobody is interested in stepping up to fulfill the other aspect of the right coin, which is the duty coin. So our institutions will keep creating rights. The judiciary will create rights, people will create rights, NGOs will create rights. But where is the duty aspect of it? Where is the duty aspect of it? Who's going to take interest in this? So there is a reason why in Western systems and systems which have imitated the West, there is a deep mistrust of the state. Because we see the state as an opportunistic entity. We constantly see the need for a judiciary to prevent the state from encroaching our liberties. I had a very good example being cited to me from Japan recently. Even in the worst of earthquakes, the Japanese trust their state authorities to help them out, and they stay in the building which is quaking. And their confidence is typically validated and vindicated by the state authority. That is the stark cultural difference. Because Apart from having subscribed to certain Western notions of development, the one thing that Japan has managed to crack is retained its honor codes in quite a few of its professions, retained its obligation codes, retained importance of honesty, efficiency, punctuality and whatnot, which is ingrained in their culture and which they will never contribute under any circumstances in the name of diversity. Okay? Those are the kind of systems. You can call them closed systems, you can keep celebrating the open systems. The consequence of open systems are right in front of you. Closed systems will survive in the long run, period.